Five, four, three, two, one. Hello, good evening, and welcome to my Tour of Yorkshire. It's not Tour de Yorkshire, as some people like to call it. Definitely Tour of Yorkshire preview. Delighted to be once again joined by Jay Thomson of Dimension Data. Jay, how are we?
Yeah, super. Sorry about the slight delay here, but glad to be back on the show.
You've had a little break since the classics, no Romandy. Did you have a couple of days off the bike?
Yeah, I had a bit of time off the bike, spent some time with my two girls, so my wife and my daughter. We went to Hamburg for a few days, let my hands recover. I think everybody saw the picture of my leg hand and the no skin I had left there. Yeah, it was good to have a bit of time away from putting the hand on the handlebars to let that recover. And yeah, did Frankfurt yesterday. We won't talk about that, but yeah.
This is your first Tour of Yorkshire. You did the Tour of Britain last season. Looking forward to racing a different race?
Yeah, of course. For me, every race that I haven't done before is new and exciting. So yeah, to be able to come and do Yorkshire this year and not Romandy, yeah, it was really cool. I'm pretty excited about it.
For people watching, they might be wondering why it's clashing with the Giro this year. Simple reason is that the race is scheduled around a public holiday in Britain, which is the first Monday of May, and this is the latest it can be. So unfortunately, it clashes with the start of the Giro, which is a shame, and it kind of reduces some of the riders who would come here. But looking at your team, you come fully loaded. It looks a really strong squad.
Yeah, I think we always got a lot of respect from this race. We've won it once, and I think we've always been pretty good here. So, and with some of our sponsors having headquarters here in the UK, it's also big ties with Dimension Data and Deloitte both having really big ties here in the UK. It's also quite a race close to our heart. So, yeah.
Yeah, you've got obviously Cavendish is here, who's the big name. You've got defending champion Serge Pauls, you've got Renshaw, yourself, Vermont, Nick Dougal. I mean, that's looking really strong. You bring the full 7 men. Some of the other World Tour teams only have 6. So you would imagine that you're going to be quite a busy boy this week?
Yeah, I think we're going to have a good week. And yeah, hopefully I'm going to be busy and I'm going to be good. After my little break, I've been training hard. So looking forward to the second part of the year. Our never the best for the one-day races, so I always look forward to the tours where it can always be multiple days good. You don't not just have to rely on one day and one moment and one chance to be good. So I think this week will be a good one for us.
The race is a good mix. We've got 6 World Tour teams, 6 Pro Continentals. We've got 7 Continental British teams, and we also have a GB team riding here, which is mainly made up of kind of Team Wiggins riders. How does that change the dynamic in the bunch?
Yeah, of course, when you have less World Tour teams, it's less organised. I know it sounds weird, but it really is. With the World Tour teams, you race for a certain period, then the breakaway goes, everybody calms down, the team that's going to control, that knows they're going to win the race, controls. When you throw out a lot of World Tour teams, when you bring in more of the smaller teams, it's not like they're smaller or anything. The guys race longer. They don't really want to stop. If they want to be in the breakaway, they're going to carry on trying to stop or breakaway or the race explodes to pieces. So yeah, it's a little bit harder to control. But on the other side, when you go in the UK roads, they're very small, so it is easier for us to block them and make it easier for ourselves. But it does make the racing a little bit more unpredictable, with less World Tour teams, so there's less, But then on the other side, when the race gets really hard, there's less guys in front.
And I suppose it's only a 2.1 race for the kind of World Tour teams, but for the smaller teams, this is it's like the World Cup final, they're riding against the big names, the big teams, and this is their chance to be on TV, to probably race in front of their family, which is obviously a big deal. So you can kind of appreciate why they're up for it. Looking at the teams, we could get a little surprise this year because the route looks super hard. we've got 4 stages this year instead of 3. 2 nailed-on sprint stages. We start tomorrow with a sprint in Doncaster, and all eyes, I suppose, will be on a certain Cavendish.
Yeah, for sure. This year, when I look at the course from last year, I think this year's a little bit harder. But it's a balanced route, You've got 2 sprint days and then 2 stages for the climbers. Not really I'll say climbers, it's more of a punchy kind of route, for guys that like Surge and the likes of Ben Harbourlight, but you never know where he is after taking a bit of break after the classics. But yeah, I think a really good balanced route for Yorkshire. So, we look forward to tomorrow to see how Cav's doing. He hasn't raced in San Remo after his horrible crash we all saw there. So, but yeah, I think he's back, and we all know that he's ready to race. He wants to start.
So we've got, as you mentioned, 2 sprint stages, which is stages 1 and 3. Stage 2, we end on a climb which is brilliantly named the Cow and Calf, which is 1.8 kilometres at about 8%. That'll be a big day, huge crowds out on the road. And then we have the Queen stage, which is stage 4 on Sunday, which I've just written one word down describing it, which is silly. It's like ridiculously tough. Probably the toughest stage Tour of Yorkshire's ever brought in. Around about 2,900 metres, and I shared the story with you before that one of the continental teams went out to do a recon of this ride a while back, and it took them 2 hours and 40 minutes to ride the first 60k. So that sounds like an interesting stage.
I think it'll be a fun day. But it just depends on how the whole week goes leading into that. If it's a hard 3 days coming into that, I think there'll be a lot of tired legs, and the guys that are in good shape are going to just pretty much rip the race to pieces, and it'll be over. But also, on the other hand, where days that hard, sometimes you kill the racing, you actually strangle it because everybody's too scared to race. Because they're too scared to go too hard too soon because they don't know what's going to happen at the end. I don't know. My opinion on when they make these races that hard, they just take away the actual action of what a race can be.
Yeah, there is that fine line, isn't there? If you make the start of it particularly too hard, guys just don't attack, and it kind of rolls along at a fairly easy pace until the big climbs later on. I'm sure the organisers will be hoping they haven't kind of made a mistake.
Yeah, for them as well, but you never know. I think as you say, with so many continental teams, the chances of it being a low luster start is almost zero. These guys are going to want to go get in front of the race. If you can't climb, you want to be in front. But to get in front, you're going to have a big engine. I think on a day like it's going to be have a big engine just to be in the front, and to try and stay away charging, because that's something that's going to come from behind. It's not an easy day.
That stage,
I think you'll see some big splits.
Yeah, that stage 4. I mean, we've got climbs, categorised climbs like kind of short, punchy, 1-2k, 8-9%. We've got another one which is 2.2k, about 10%. Ramps of 20 odd percent in there. The uncategorised climbs are just as hard. It's constantly up and down all day long and very, very steep. Then throw in the weather. I think looking at the forecast, it's going to be dry, which is lucky at this time of year in Britain. But any wind up on the top of these climbs is really exposed, and the peloton will just blow to bits. And the wind looks like it's one of those where it could potentially blow a bit on the Sunday.
Yeah, I've had a look at the weather going forward, and it looks like we're going to have a good week with sunshine, or at least warmer weather and dry conditions. But yeah, you never know with the wind. The wind decides to blow you. Any day could be a GC day. It could be a day that decides who wins and loses this race. Stage 3, for instance, if the wind blows just in the right angle, the whole race can be in pieces before the GC day even gets to the side. So you have 1 or 2 climbers that are smart enough and strong enough and have the right team looking after them. They're in the front, and the rest of the climbers can race as hard as they want on Sunday. They have to make up days.
You've mentioned a few of them. We've got some big names here in terms of GC. We've got Van Avermaet. You've quite rightly pointed out, nobody will really know what his form will be like after a very busy Classics campaign and then a rest. We've got Jonathan Hievert from Direct Energy, who's having a very good season, won a stage in Paris-Nice. Magnus Cort Nielsen, Paddy Bevan from BMC, Mike Tunison. And then a lot of eyes will be on a young Brit. I know you watch a bit of cyclocross yourself. We've got the junior world champion, or the former junior world champion, Tom Pidcock, riding for the Team GB squad. Just 18 years old, but he won a fairly big local race just on Sunday, which was his first win on the road in the elite category. I think a lot of people are really excited to see how he goes this week. Have you seen much of him in the cyclocross?
Yeah, of course, as you say, I like to watch a little bit of the cyclocross in all season. So, I watched how he dominated in the cyclocross this season and then winning the world championships. He's a powerful guy, and then if you look at Wout van Aert, he showed that this year, being a cyclocross bike rider, you can be a darn good bike rider on the road. So, these guys that drive cyclocross are super talented, So, yeah, of course, the British public will be hoping and praying that they can have a guy another Brit that can do something special. At the moment, Britain has so many good bike riders, but another one that's 18 that you can produce into something special is always great to see,
Now, as we've mentioned, first time in the Tour of Yorkshire. What local treats are you looking forward to? Have you sampled the Yorkshire pudding yet?
No, they didn't even have Yorkshire pudding for dinner tonight, so not yet. Maybe 3 more days.
Yorkshire tea. I mean, there's lots of Yorkshire. Well, the Yorkshire beer, but maybe you'll be staying away from that one.
Yeah, maybe Sunday night we'll have to have a Yorkshire beer. Is it called there's a Thwaite beer down here? Then I guess Thwaite.
Thwaite, yeah.
Yeah, there's a Thwaite beer, something like that. So yeah, maybe I'll have to try one on Sunday.
A nice pint of beer and a Yorkshire pudding. That sounds like a perfect way to end what will be a very tough stage.
Exactly.
Now, we've touched on it. Your squad's GC defending champion Serge Pauwels was awesome here last season. Him and Omar Fraile kind of destroyed everybody, finished 1 and 2 on the Queen stage. Pauwels has been very consistent in the Ardennes, top 35 I think in all 3 races. He's looking good just now.
He's looking good, and yesterday in Frankfurt he looked really sharp too. So, I think he's motivated to be here, and after this he has a break, so he knows that he can go as deep as he can Sunday. So for him, I think he can put everything on the line and not have to worry about having to race next week, or he's got some time to recover. So I look forward to trying to support him as deep as I can go on Sunday. Obviously, I'm a big boy, so I don't climb. I climb a little bit like an anvil, so let's see how we can go. On these roads, it's a bit different. It's always been, the position has a lot to do with how you race in the British roads. The climbs are steep, but if you're in the front, you can ride the race your rhythm. So yeah, it's always. I really think Serge has got what it takes, but he needs support too. We can't leave him in the front for 80k alone. So, with young Scott Davis here as well, he's quite a good climber, and I think he can go pretty deep in supporting Serge as well on Sunday. So, but before that, we have to make sure that he gets there in a good position, that he doesn't lose time, like I said, in a potential crosswind stage, or missing out on Friday on the cow and calf. You lose 30 seconds there. It's quite hard to make up 30 seconds on Sunday,
I'm glad you mentioned Scott Davis. A lot of the attention has been on another Dimension Data youngster, Ben O'Connor, who's taken some real big results in Tour of Alps. Scott Davis, Welsh rider, very good climber. Last season he was high up in the Baby Giro and races like that. So I agree, I think he'll go deep in the races. Vermont, if memory serves me right, he was a leader in the Tour of Britain, I think it was Tour of Britain a couple of years ago. He's another who can go deep in the race, which will be important against Team Sky, who clearly home race, want to do well. BMC, yeah, it's going to be an interesting stage to watch on Sunday, especially with the team tactics.
Yeah, no, definitely will be. And I think Scott Davies is. He's had a bit of a rough start to the season. I think he's getting thrown into the World Tour. It's always interesting your first year. Look at Ben O'Connor last year. He was scratching around, and then Austria came and he made a breakthrough. He won a stage there. We didn't really see him much for the rest of the season, because the team didn't want to overbreak. Grew. Now the six keys that I can put he's taking the season on. In the stage in Catalonia, like the 12th in the GC there. I think Scott Davis is just doing the same that he needs to do what Ben did last year. Take the season as it comes and learn as much as you can. And the kid's got a real bright future. He can really climb good. So, his potential is massive. So, to see how he goes on.
Okay.
My first race with him, so I'm excited to see how he goes.
Cool. So, looking ahead, personally, I think Serge Pils will defend his title. I know you are in agreement with that. We could potentially see Cavendish up there for a few stages. As we said, it's going to be a busy week. Jay, thank you very much for taking your time to come on it again in the preview show, and I'm looking forward to some pictures of Yorkshire puddings and beer. And I do believe your cycling game super fan is going to be at the start tomorrow. Looking to see you.
Awesome.
I think Jamie Rhodes, I think he's called. He's going to be there for you tomorrow. So it'll be nice for that